It's Edward Roski, and I'm asking good questions. So, how do you run a frontier level AI model on a laptop? Is it even possible? Well, yes, and apparently all it takes is some really bored guy trying to figure out how to spend a weekend. Dan Woods built a custom inference engine in 24 hours this week. He didn't have a team or a bunch of funding behind it, he just had a weekend free. He ran Alibaba's Qwen 3.5, all 397 billion parameters on a MacBook Pro with 48 gigs of RAM. The full model is 209 gigabytes. His program used 5.5 gigs of memory. My wife Dawn is an artist and she has watercolor scans that are bigger than that. She paints on actual canvases. Modern AI models don't use all their parameters, all their weights at once. This one has 512 experts and it only activates 4 per response. So instead of loading 209 gigabytes into memory, Woods streams 4 tiny slices off of the SSD for each token. And Apple's drives handle each load in under a millisecond. He called his project Flash-MoE, mixture of experts. It's open source. It's been trending on Hacker News all week. In my opinion, is the most underreported story in AI right now. Why? Because NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta alone have committed over $600 billion to AI data centers this year. I mean, hell, Elon says we're going to need to be putting some of those on the moon. The hyperscaling bet assumes running frontier AI requires massive centralized hardware. And it does when you're serving millions of users at once. But the gap between requires a data center and runs on a laptop you already own has just collapsed. It's kind of like building an international airport and then discovering everyone learned to teleport, or building out a whole lot of train stations if you want to go way back, and then realizing everybody now wants to drive themselves. So 5.5 tokens per second is not production speed, but it is fast enough to run a private AI that never touches a server, never phones home, never generates a monthly bill. A year ago, running a 400 billion parameter model required a GPU rack that cost more than most houses. Now it requires a free download from GitHub. Personal story, I once paid for some GPU cloud time, for more GPU cloud time than I intended, to do something a MacBook could have handled. I'm still actively trying to forget that invoice. The biggest infrastructure bet in tech history assumes that local AI will stay impractical. And one developer just made that assumption a whole lot less comfortable. When the cost of private AI approaches zero, why exactly are we still paying for all those centralized data centers? Until next time, keep asking good questions.